Two things have happened this week that have really irritated me, and it's a sign of a wider problem that is happening in the sewing world. People taking to social media to voice their displeasure about a business's decisions without getting their facts right. So stick around and we are going to dive in. And a big thank you to Fussy for sponsoring a portion of this video. It has happened time and time again. I've seen it multiple times. A business announces that it's having to pivot or change something, or they're creating something new for the sewing community, and instead of positivity, they are met with the most disdainful comments. For some reason, this is particularly prevalent on Facebook. For some reason, having that screen between the person and the business seems to give them permission, or think that it gives them permission, to be downright rude. And I bet you 99% of the time, these people would not say these comments to the faces of the businesses that they're talking to. It is tough out there right now. Years ago, we were told, start your own business, you'll have more freedom, you'll have flexibility, you can pay yourself in dividends, etc., etc. But things have changed, and running a business, a small business, is harder now than it has ever been. And if these businesses want to survive, they need to pivot. It is a big, scary decision to make. Believe me, I know, I have been there. But if they don't pivot, if they don't make these decisions, they're not going to survive. And my God, people do not like change. So I want to talk about First for Fabrics, which is a fantastic fabric shop based in Newcastle in the northeast of the UK. It's a family-run business. I actually met Kaylee at the end of July. She was one of the guests in our live event on ThreadySetGo, and she was so lovely. First for Fabrics has been running for 26 years. They started out as a market store. When the factories closed down, they bought some of the fabrics, sold it at a market store, and have gradually built to this fantastic shop that they are now. They've been in the same unit for 15 years, and just before COVID, luckily, they launched their website. They've been growing their social media. There is a lot of love for First for Fabrics. But last week, they announced that they are moving to a new unit, opening a sewing studio alongside, and transitioning to becoming an online only business, with the aim that once they're up and running, they can restart their click and collect system, and they will be having regular open days as well. And people took to Facebook to voice their extreme displeasure and disappointment, telling them that they are now going to lose customers who only want to shop in person. Now, I had a look at the comments on Facebook, and I do know, because I chatted to Kaylee, that she had actually deleted a lot of the comments that were bordering on really personal. So there were comments like, I come in for a particular fabric but often get drawn in and buy other fabrics and haberdashery. I like to look and feel the fabric. Colours don't translate online. But if it makes you, the retailer, happy, then why should I, the customer, be unhappy? Also, there are millions of online shops to choose from, but very few locally to touch and feel. Basically, the overarching theme were people saying, I'm out. I'm no longer a customer. If I can't come to your shop, then I'm not shopping online. So Kaylee came back online the next day and felt the need to justify and defend the business's decision. Their lease is up after 15 years in the same unit, and their rent is doubling. Business rates are going up, utility rates are going up, supplier costs are going up, everything is going up. And honestly, to have a bricks and mortar fabric shop in 2026 is nothing short of a miracle. These people have been lucky that they have had this place as long as they have. I don't remember the last time I went to an actual fabric shop other than an open day in order to buy fabric. There is a reason that the high street is dead, and it is not because of the business owners themselves. So people asking them to reconsider their decisions, they've got bills to pay. These business owners not only have their business bills to pay, this is how they pay themselves and pay their rent or their mortgage or their grocery bills. And I really don't think the supermarket is going to accept good vibes as a form of payment. Another commenter took to Facebook to say, there are very few places that you can buy fabric in person in the northeast. Not just the northeast, it's everywhere. Looks like my sewing days will be even more limited. I won't be a customer once you're online only. So really ramping up the guilt factor here. Like I said, the overwhelming messages were from people saying that they will no longer be a customer. But if you want to still indulge in your sewing hobby, you're going to have to make the change. You're going to have to adapt with the times, just like the businesses have, and start shopping online. I pretty much only shop online now with great success. So maybe I need to do a video in the future on how to shop online successfully for fabrics, because this is just the way the world is going with businesses like Amazon, meaning that everyone is shopping online because it's convenient for most people. Most people are working, have busy days, and you can shop at 2 o'clock in the morning if you feel so inclined. You can't go to a physical shop at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's just the way that things are going now. And if you're mad about it, I get it. I totally get it. Fabric shopping in person is a wonderful, lovely experience, and change is sadly necessary. But the team at First for Fabrics or any other businesses that you are mad at, they're not the ones to get mad at about this. One commenter did defend them in Facebook and said, to all those customers that have commented that they will not be buying online from First for Fabrics, where is the trust? You have shopped with them. They have always given you a good service, good fabrics, and value for money. Give it a try. Get to the open days if you can. Thank goodness they're not like the other shops that have gone under. And this is such a good point. If you are one of these people who do shop regularly at First for Fabrics, you will no doubt have met the team, have gotten to know the people behind the business. You can see that Kaylee does a fantastic job on social media of sharing the fabrics that they have in, showing the fabrics in motion. That's the best you can get if you cannot get to a fabric shop. There is a level of trust there. You should have built up a level of trust with the businesses that they are not going to rip you off, that they are sending you beautiful, high quality fabrics, and that if you look on their social media pages, you will be able to see the fabrics in motion, the colors. They're pretty good. They're pretty true to life. Thankfully, over on Instagram particularly, there was a lot of support for the decision made, especially after Kaylee released her second video explaining the decision, which in hindsight, maybe that should have come first and been clear in the first video that this was a financially grounded decision. But really, surely people should be aware enough that decisions like this aren't taken lightly. And it was most likely a really emotionally difficult choice, not just done to annoy customers whilst they swim in a bath of money like Scrooge McDuck. But what was the alternative? In order to be able to pay the new doubled wrench, they have doubled the prices of their fabrics. Would these people have been willing to pay double the price that they're used to paying? I highly doubt it, and I would imagine that those comments would be even worse. Of course, running a business, you are going to have negative comments. That is part of running a business. Unfortunately, I've certainly had my fair share, and one that came up this week I'm going to share in a minute. But first of all, a little word from this week's sponsor, Fussy. As a lot of people, I have been trying to make a few simple changes where I can to reduce single-use plastics, and a super easy one has been to switch to a refillable all-natural deodorant from Fussy. I've been trying it out over the last week and I've been really impressed. The refillable outer case is super sleek and comes in a variety of colours. Then you can choose from a huge range of honestly deliciously smelling scents as their refills. They have their regulars, and then they also do seasonal limited edition collections, like this Brazilian summer collection, which has 3 different scents: After Sun, Sweet Escape, and my personal favourite, Mango Mood. All you do when you're ready to refill is remove the lid and the inner cap by squeezing the buttons at the side. Remove the empty cardboard, which is completely compostable, drop in a new refill, push down the inner cap until it clicks, and twist the deodorant back up to use. Super simple. If you haven't tried out Fussy before and you are looking for an alternative that reduces single-use plastics, uses all natural ingredients, and leaves you smelling incredible, then head over to the link in the description below and use my code SewHayleyJane for 15% off your first order. Now back to the video. So in this world where people are used to getting things for free, I had a comment on a short that I posted on YouTube last week where I was telling you who the guests were going to be in July's live event, and someone commented saying she'd love to watch but she thinks it's overpriced. Not I'd love to watch but unfortunately I can't afford it, that I totally understand, but to say it's overpriced. So I replied and told her that as part of the £5 a month membership, I run 3 2-hour long sewing socials online. So if you break that down, that roughly equates to 20p an hour. And that's not necessarily including the live guest events where 2 or 3 people within the sewing world very kindly give up their time to come and chat to us, and it is interactive. So it's not just a podcast or a YouTube interview. The members are in the audience and they get to ask questions. They get to interact with the people in the sewing community that we're listening to. And it is always such an inspiring event. Now, we also have a whole heap of free features on ThreadySetGo, like the forum where you can chat and have conversations with people over the world. We have the project management systems and fabric organization. So if it's something that you can't afford, you can still get involved. But not being able to afford something is very different to saying something is overpriced. In fact, I might be so bold as to say that it is worth a hell of a lot more than £5 a month. So I was a little bit cheeky and I finished my comment by asking if you can tell me anywhere that does all of this for less than £5, I'd love to hear. I doubt I'd hear back from you. But I did hear back, and they said, "You are mistaking quantity for quality. The viewing public doesn't normally pay for the sort of programming you offer, at least not without a free trial. You seem to have a pretty high opinion of it, but it's an unknown quantity to me and will remain so. Turning off notifications, so if you must have the last word, have at it." Yes, I needed the last word. So to the point, the viewing public doesn't normally pay for the sort of programming you offer, at least not without a free trial. We have a free trial. When you sign up, you get a 3-day free trial, which if you time it right, you could try out at least a couple of the online sewing socials and watch all the replays of the previous guest events, which currently there are 12 in there. So that's 36 different guests to hear from. People like Helen from Helen's Closet, Jenny from Cashmerette, Sew Over It. We've had Sewing Bee contestants, and each one has their own incredible story to tell. Sure, I could do it for free on YouTube, but the interactive element wouldn't be the same. The community element wouldn't be the same. Maybe there are free services out there, but that usually means that you're trading your privacy and data in order for it to be free. Because there's the saying, if something is free, you are the product. From a practical point of view, the hosting site that I use for these live online socials and events, that costs money. Website hosting, video storage, plus my own bills to pay. But what other programming are people offering for free? I don't think I know of any sewing socials, either online or in person, that are free to attend. And I certainly don't know of anyone doing free interviews where the members in the audience get to take part as well. And as for them saying you seem to have a pretty high opinion of it, of course I do. Hundreds of hours has gone into building this resource for the sewing community. My husband is a professional web and software developer with 20 years experience who has built this site for free from the ground up, meaning we have complete control over it and can ensure the privacy and safety of our users in a way that Meta cannot. How could I possibly try and sell something that I didn't have a high opinion of? I think it is amazing. It is a fantastic resource. Whether you can only use the free features or you can pay for the membership of £5 a month in order to join in the socials and the live events. Yes, I have a very high opinion of it. And like I said, if I could pay my household bills in good vibes, I absolutely would. But I'm afraid my daughter needs feeding. Then they also said it is an unknown quantity to them. So that tells me that they haven't even been over to the website to check that we have a free trial, to have a look at all the bits and pieces that we do have over there that anyone can use, and to see the quality for themselves. Now, I want to make it very clear that I am not upset by this comment. I am not hurt and crying into my Weetabix, but it annoys me that people are making these kind of comments without getting their facts straight. And these are just 2 very isolated instances that have happened in the last week. There are heaps and heaps more, but I'm not going to go into all of them. Just if you have something to say, make it constructive. You don't need to target the people, the real people who are running these businesses. They have feelings. They have their own bills to pay. They have to make decisions and make changes in order to keep their business going. Because how upset would you be if these businesses had to close down? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day.